Welcome to Whole Word Ministries. Thank you for joining me. While studying scripture one day, I got curious about the meaning of the name Jerusalem. Now, in Hebrew, the word is Yerushalayim or Yerushalayim. Hebrew is read from right to left. The official answer from the New Strong's Complete Dictionary of Bible Words is that it means founded peaceful. And from Chabad.org, we find a different definition with an interesting story to go along with it. They say the name is a combination of two other words, Yaira and Shalem. This seems odd to me, as Yerushalayim begins with the sound Yeru, not Yaira, but their story goes like this. As this was the place that Abraham was set to sacrifice his son to God, he named it God Will See, which in Hebrew is Yaira. This was the same location, however, as Melchizedek came from, and he was the king of Shalem. It is an ancient tradition that Melchizedek was none other than Shem, son of Noah. The Jewish story says that God was worried that if he called the place Shalem, then Abraham would be angry. But if he named it Yaira, Shem would be angry. Therefore, to keep everyone happy, he joined the two words together. Now, I wasn't buying this fairy tale, and I think the reason's pretty obvious, so I kept looking. Whenever I'm researching word meanings while studying scripture, I like to look to the primitive root. Now, the Hebrew alphabet doesn't use vowels the way that English does. Sometime around the 7th century AD, Jewish scholars added vowel markings to words. These vowel markings are only used in scripture and children's books. Many of the words in the Strong's Dictionary are the same word with different vowel markers, which means they're originally from the same root. The best place to start with the word Yerushalayim was to see what words it could possibly be broken down into, and the most obvious one being Shalem. And this is one thing in which I agree with Chabad.org. The next step was to look at the first part of the word. The letter Yod as a prefix places a third-person singular future tense on the following verb. Now, the remaining letters in the middle of the word were Ru. But after looking through Strong's Dictionary, I realized there was no such Hebrew word. However, I found the word Rush, and I thought, jackpot. There's no reason why we can't use the shin twice, as is common practice in English at least to drop one letter when combining two words into one. The shin makes the sound of the sh in English. You wouldn't see an English word doubling the sh either. So in putting it all together, the three words would sound like Rush, Shalem. Next, I looked up the meanings of the three words in their proper order using the Strong's Dictionary. The letter Yod as a prefix means he will. Rush is Strong's H7326 and means to be destitute and to make oneself a poor man. Shalem is Strong's H7999, which means, now listen close and see if any of this rings any bells for you. Shalem means to be safe, to be completed, to make amends, to make an end, to finish, to make good, full, give again, to repay, to make to be at peace, to perfect, to prosper, to make restitution, to restore, to reward. So did any light bulbs come on for you? Therefore, Jerusalem means he will make himself a poor, destitute man to make amends, to make restitution, to make an end, to finish, to perfect, to restore, to make all to be at peace. Wow. How could Jerusalem mean anything but Yeshua Messiah, Jesus Christ? Let's look up some scripture together. I'll be reading from the Restoration Study Bible. Daniel 9, verse 24. 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city to finish the transgression and to make an end of sins and to make reconciliation for iniquity and to bring in everlasting righteousness and to seal up the vision and prophecy and to anoint the most holy. 2 Corinthians 8, verse 9. For ye know the grace of our Master Yeshua Messiah, that though he was rich, yet for your sakes he became poor, that ye through his poverty might be rich. Mark 10, verse 45. For even the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister, and to give his life a ransom for many. Luke 1, verses 78 to 79. Through the tender mercy of our God, whereby the dayspring from on high hath visited us, to give light to them that sit in darkness and in the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the way of peace. John 16, verse 33. These things I have spoken unto you, that in me you might have peace. In the world ye shall have tribulation, But be of good cheer, I have overcome the world. Romans 9 verse 28, for he will finish the work and cut it short in righteousness, because a short work will Yahweh make upon the earth. Titus 2 verse 14, who gave himself for us that he might redeem us from all iniquity and purify unto himself a peculiar people, zealous of good works. Jeremiah 29 verse 11, for I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith Yahweh, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an unexpected end. Isaiah 53 verse 5, but he was wounded for our transgressions, he was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed. I hope this revelation has been as meaningful to you as it was for me. Shalom.